Hello! I'm not going to talk about this book. I've got to select the correct book, but I've got a new book to look at today. For a change, it's going to be I might have to start again. No, here we go. It's a fiction book, but it is very pertinent to events happening nowadays, and I've been asked to do it. The Man Who Would Save Europe. So let's make a start. Let's have a look at a video, a short explain video, and then I'll tell you why I enjoyed it and why also I was a bit annoyed by it, but we'll come to that in a bit. Okay, let's have a look at the video.
War has come to Europe again, this time to Ukraine. This is a story about how one man's actions can make a difference in the world.
The book is about Pope Constantine II, who goes to King to place his body between the combatants to rekindle the force of peace.
It is a thought-provoking reading that will leave you thinking about the power of faith and spirituality long after you have finished reading it. The Man Who Would Save Europe, a book by Sposato.
Right, so this is a book, The Man Who Would Save Europe, by Sposato. He's an acquaintance on Facebook, which is partly why I'm doing this review. I was asked to do it. I made some notes. It's a novel about Stephen himself, who manages to get into Europe, get into the Vatican in Italy, and persuade the Pope to go on a peace mission to Russia and to Ukraine and try and get the two sides talking and a peace agreement underway. Now, there are some interesting things in this book. I'll start off with the one negative. I do feel, because he's self-published, he should have got someone to proofread and edit this book, because there are quite a few spelling and typos in there which shouldn't take away from your enjoyment if you do get this book, but it's not a great look. Having said that, the message is loud and clear. Stephen is one of these people who has been very opposed to the enthusiasm for war, the war fever we found in the war media, politicians pushing for more arms. I disagree with him, but he's got a very valid point. We shouldn't be pushing people into war if there's a chance of peace. The book also shows how even when people are looking for peace, there are sinister forces who can chirp in at any stage and stop that peace process succeeding. We have to be careful of this. One of his points, which I'm a bit dubious about, and I think a lot of people will be, is that Mr. Vladimir Putin would be amenable to a peace deal. I think he was determined to take over most of Ukraine and impose his will, and I think the Ukrainians know this. But that's his opinion, and it is a novel, and it does make you think. He also raises a point that we are supporting the succession of Ukraine from a Russian or ex-Soviet dominated arena, whereas the same people who are pushing for this would not support the breakup of Italy or Spain or Scotland becoming independent, which is a kind of a point, I suppose, and it's a fair point to raise. I think Stephen does try and tell us how Russian have a mentality that the whole world is trying to invade and get at them, and there are historical precedents for this going back to the Mongol invasion and then the Germans in the last century. And I think he does this well without being overbearing. It is an adventure story. It's worth reading, but try and be a bit tolerant of his spelling mistakes. I'll insist again, he should have got a good proofreader before he published, because it would have made it a lot better book, but it's still worth reading. So, I'm not going to give points on this. It'd be unfair because I don't normally review fiction or novels, but I enjoyed it and it made me think a lot. So it could well do the same for you. The Man Who Will Save Europe by Stephen Sposato. It's out there on Amazon. I'm not a big fan of Amazon, but that's how you're going to get it. Have a good week.